Scorpio, this week is about the kind of truth that changes your behavior once you say it clearly. The Ace of Swords is your card, and it does not arrive to make everything comfortable. It arrives to cut through distortion, repetition, mixed motives, and the exhausting effort of pretending that confusion is still necessary. The cosmic weather is deliberately minimal in this reading. No verified astrological events or housemap transits were supplied for August 26th through September 1st, so I will not invent a transit story or timing claim. Your tarot card becomes the cleanest source of guidance. The Ace of Swords asks you to work with what can be named, tested, and understood. Your card is the Ace of Swords. This ace represents clarity, truth, discernment, language, mental breakthrough, decision, and the power of a clean cut. But a sword is useful because it separates. It tells this from that, signal from noise, evidence from projection, loyalty from self-betrayal, privacy from secrecy, intensity from intimacy. For Scorpio, this card can be deeply liberating because you are comfortable with depth but sometimes stay in complexity longer than necessary. You can see many layers, many motives, many possible explanations. The ace asks whether one precise sentence could organize all of them. Your central thesis is, clarity is a cut, not a comfort. In love, this card asks for direct language. If you are in a relationship, notice whether an important issue has become surrounded by implication. Maybe both of you know what the tension is, but the conversation keeps circling it. The Ace of Swords favors a sentence that is honest without being cruel. I need more consistency. I do not feel safe when this happens. I want to know whether we are building the same thing. I am still hurt by what happened. Precision can reduce drama because it gives both people something real to respond to. Be careful, however, not to use truth as a weapon. Scorpio can deliver a devastatingly accurate observation when wounded. Accuracy does not automatically make a statement useful. Before speaking, ask whether your goal is understanding, protection, repair, or punishment. The same truth can be delivered in very different ways. If you are single, the Ace of Swords encourages clean standards and clean endings. If someone's behavior repeatedly contradicts what they say, believe the pattern enough to ask a direct question. If you already know a connection cannot meet your needs, avoid keeping it alive simply because uncertainty preserves possibility. Clarity may close one door, but it also returns your attention to you. In work, this is a strong card for decisions, writing, analysis, negotiation, strategy, contracts, planning, or any situation where vague language creates avoidable problems. Read carefully. Ask what success means. Define the scope. Put important agreements in writing when appropriate. If a project is stalled, identify the exact question preventing movement. Often the problem is not lack of effort but lack of definition. You may also need to separate what you know from what you suspect about colleagues, clients, or leadership. Scorpio intuition can be sharp, but the ace asks you to bring evidence into the room. If you think something is changing, look for concrete indicators before building a strategy around the assumption. With money, clarity is the medicine. Open the account. Read the statement. Look at the total. Compare the actual number with the number you have been carrying emotionally. If you need to make a decision, define the criteria before temptation or fear enters the conversation. The Ace of Swords is not necessarily a card of spending less. It is a card of making choices from accurate information. For health and energy, notice the cost of mental loops. Replaying a conversation, anticipating a confrontation, or trying to decode every signal can consume real energy. This does not mean you should dismiss emotional concerns. It means you should decide which concerns require action, which require a question, and which require you to stop feeding them. Mental boundaries are part of energy management. For your week day by day, treat each day as a clarity practice rather than a prediction. On Wednesday, write one sentence that names the most important unresolved issue in your life right now. No backstory. No explanation. If the sentence is still vague, rewrite it until another person could understand what the actual problem is. On Thursday, collect evidence. What facts support your interpretation? What facts complicate it? What are you assuming? The ace becomes strongest when it is sharp enough to cut your own bias as well as someone else's. On Friday, have one conversation or make one decision that benefits from greater precision. Ask the question you actually want answered. State the limit you actually mean. Do not bury the point under excessive context. On Saturday, take a break from investigation. Clarity can become obsession when every moment is spent searching for another clue. Give your mind something simple and physical to do so that thought can settle. On Sunday, revisit one old belief about yourself. Is it still accurate? Maybe you have been calling yourself difficult, private, unlucky, too intense, too guarded, or responsible for something that was never entirely yours. The Ace of Swords can cut outdated self-definitions too. On Monday, make one practical move based on what you now know. Update the plan, send the email, change the budget, schedule the conversation, or remove one option that has already failed your criteria. On Tuesday, ask whether greater clarity made your week narrower or freer. Sometimes a smaller number of options creates more energy because you are no longer maintaining possibilities you do not actually want. Your 3 journal prompts are these. First prompt: what truth do I keep complicating because a clear answer would require clear action? Second prompt: where am I treating intuition as proof when I actually need more evidence? Third prompt: what sentence do I need to say, write, or admit so that I can stop carrying an unresolved issue in fragments? For your weekly guidance, complete the one-sentence truth exercise. Choose one situation that has been mentally expensive. Write your current interpretation in one sentence. Under it, make 2 columns, evidence for and evidence against. List only observable facts, not motives. Then rewrite the sentence so that it reflects the evidence more accurately. Finally, write one action that follows from the revised sentence. The purpose is not to eliminate emotion. It is to give emotion a structure strong enough to support a decision. There is a deeper message in this ace about secrecy. Privacy is a boundary around what is sacred. Secrecy is sometimes a structure built to prevent reality from being tested. Ask yourself whether you are protecting something because it deserves privacy or because speaking it aloud would make its contradictions visible. This question may apply to a desire, a fear, a resentment, or a plan. The Ace of Swords also asks you to accept that some truths simplify life by disappointing you. You may discover that someone cannot give what you hoped, that a project needs more work than expected, or that your own motive is less noble than the story you preferred. That is not failure. Accurate disappointment is more useful than beautiful confusion. Scorpio, your gift is depth, but depth does not require endless darkness. Sometimes the deepest move is to turn on the light and look directly at what is there. This week, let precision protect your energy. Let truth become useful. Let the cleanest sentence lead to the cleanest next step. One final caution: clarity can arrive before emotional readiness. You may know the answer and still need time to feel what the answer means. Do not confuse that emotional lag with confusion. A decision can be correct and still be painful. Give your feelings room to catch up without reopening the question every time discomfort returns. The sword can make the cut once. You do not need to keep cutting the same place to prove that the truth was real. If another person is involved, remember that clarity does not guarantee agreement. You can express yourself precisely and still hear a different conclusion. The Ace of Swords asks you to value an honest answer over an answer that protects your preferred outcome. Sometimes the cleanest resolution is knowing exactly where two people differ. Your weekly affirmation is, I choose truth over mental fog, and I use clarity to act with courage, restraint, and integrity. Carry that with you through September 1st. Subscribe so your next weekly reading is waiting for you. Trust the timing. The stars have spoken.